Today will be at 5 o'clock. So today, my name is Connie. I'm the speaker today. What's going to happen today is going through a series of presentations, and then we're going to call a special to pass on motion requirements. And so, thank you very much for coming. This is probably the more important part of seeing how GSS is and then we put it back. So first, I will say territorial pronouncement from the Mr.
Thank you so much for coming today. And I know that today is pretty exciting for the GSS because we are turning over our new executive team soon. And we will make the announcement later, but I just wanted to start with territorial acknowledgement. And I really wanted to say that we are so fortunate to be able to learn, live, and play on the traditional and unceded territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations of Coast Salish people. Thank you for coming here today.
Excellent. So maybe Emily, you already introduce yourself. Maybe start with you. We're gonna do the next one is introduction executive. So coming from here.
I'm Emily. I was very fortunate and to be privileged to have served as your GSS president this year. I'm currently doing my master's in Master of Arts in Kinesiology.
Thanks. I'm Cesar. I'm the financial officer, and I'm in the third year of the PhD.
Hi, I'm Anna. I am the VP student at the GSS now. I'm doing my master's in education, graduating in May. I've been privileged to serve everybody and really work with our current GSS AOs and put up lots of events throughout the year. So thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Aditi. I'm a PhD student in studies here, and I am the VP.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel and I'm VP University and Academic Affairs and fourth year PhD student. Nice to see you.
Excellent, thank you. I would like to really give a executive a round of applause. I was executive before. It was a very hectic job, so thank you for your service. Next we'll have Sophia. Here, you know, I'm gonna see. I'm still here. You're still here. So, Sophia will present to you on the role that GSS is extended health. This room tackles everybody.
Okay, thank you. So we're here from Student Care Becoming Lumo to give a presentation over an overview of the GSS EMS Health and Dental Plan. So we can just go to that next slide. Perfect. Okay. Cover today. What we're gonna cover.
A little bit too long.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. It's small. Oh, we have to be the non-bottom press. So. Yeah.
Hello. Okay. There we go. Okay. So today we're going to go over financial plans and quick facts. We're going to talk about our role as student care becoming a Lumo. We're going to go over claims from the 2024. We're going to provide an overview of the network, providing additional cost savings, and then we're going to go over some 2025 and 2026 updates. Slide. Okay, so some quick facts. There's over 46,000 members of the AMS GSS health and dental plan on an annual basis, including as well as 480 dependent members, these can be dependent members, partners, children, anyone who's dependent. The plan on an annual basis were $13 million claims. This year we're on track to hit $14 million in claims for the 2025-2026 year. In a couple of slides, we're also going to talk about some of the student transfers that provide students some additional cost savings. These are dental and vision transfer. Lastly, the plan is fully overseen by the AMS and the GSS. So overall, what we do is we manage the health and dental plan student experience. So every way that the student interacts with health and dental. My colleague Sophia is going to give you an overview of story and student care behind.
Thanks, Art. So it's always one of my favorite things to come and do a presentation to the GSS in particular. Connie and I have a long history working together when she was a student leader, but I once was a student leader on this campus too, and have had the pleasure on the AMS GSS plan on the student care side for almost 18 years now. Long and rich history, and so thanks for having me. One of my favorite stories that I love to tell in a room full of graduate students like this.
Was the exam? Commerce 352.
The graduate student who in 1998 stormed in
452? 352.
demanded.
Oh, my, it's 452. Yeah.
And that student demanded the GSS heard about a health and dental plan for students because their laptops dental bills have been so high that they're supposed to be
Okay.
and so they need help.
I mean, this is the
And
third
team that year to bring about a health and dental plan.
Can you
That's to
lock about your belongings?
President's office. They're now married.
Are you saying it's 352? I can say it's 452. 352 for sure. Let me check maybe. Okay.
What was that first conversation? All to say that there's a lot of value and work that can go in when a passionate student on campus decides to get involved. It's great to see so many people here for the AGM today. Student care has been on this campus since 1999 when this plan first came to be. And through our journey, we're also transitioning. So anyone who's been on the website in the past year has seen the student care Lumo signage. Go to lumo.ca that you'll see that coming together with two other leaders in the student health and wellness space to create a Lumo. So come fall 2026, there will be a brand new website and user experience for students on campus. If anyone has struggled with navigating student care websites, they will be very excited to see that. There's some other wins as well that we'll talk about those later on. But on the screen, it summarizes the core of what it is that we do for you. On the one hand, we administer your plan like Bart described. And on the other side, we work closely with the AMS and the GSS to make sure that all of the negotiations happen with the insurers, so you're able to get the package coverage and benefits. Part of that part includes surveying your members.
Take your
case and later on with you as well, just to make sure that the plan that students do receive is reflective of the wants and needs.
All your belongings.
While also bearing in mind there are very real cost parameters that we need to work.
You're 6 minutes late, so that will be
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to go over this really quickly. The health plan covers prescription drugs, vaccinations, mental health, professional physiotherapy, massage therapy. It also includes the vision plan as well as the travel plan. And then on the dental plan side, it's checkups, cleanings, fillings, everything you would see in a typical dental plan. We can move over to the next slide and keep going. So this is the 5-year trend for the health plan. The reason why we show this is we want to show a bit more narrative of what the plan looked like in the last times, we saw that there was a greater need for mental health campus. Students from the AMS and GSS advocated to increase the overall plan maximum for mental health from 500 to 1,000. The following year, we saw another increase from $1,000 to $1,500. At that point, when we got to the 2023-2024 year, the plan started to see some financial peril. Students did not want to increase the plan cost, even though claims were going up. So what we ended up having to do was to claw back the coverage for mental health. We dropped from the 1,500 to 1,250, which it remains today. And then we've also seen some other benefit changes. And those most notably Gardasil 9, the vaccine, we increased the coverage. Then we also lowered the coverage for vision, and that was 2 years ago. This past year, coming into this current year, we increased physiotherapy coverage in the plan. This is all to say that any benefit changes that are made in the plan, it does have a huge effect on the cost. The main drivers that we see typically prescription drugs. We can move on to the next slide. And then specifically on mental health, we talked about how the coverage has changed over the last 5 years and where we landed at the current $1,250 offering for mental health coverage. This slide shows the per capita claims. So what we do here is really like the per student. We take the entire amount of students in the plan enrollment, we divide that by the number of claims that are attributed to mental health, or per student number for mental health claims. So what we see here is mental health claims has been accelerating. This isn't just a UDC number. This is very consistent with what we see across the country, coast to coast, with all the different universities and colleges that we work with. There's a number of reasons for this. Since the pandemic, we've seen, the stigma around mental health being reduced. We've seen campaigns like Let's Talk that have really brought the conversation to the forefront. So that's why we see this trend is correlated to our health mental health. We can move on to the next slide. And then on the dental plan side, we see a bit more consistency year over year. The claims have stayed relatively similar. We did see a decrease a couple of years ago. That was where we mentioned earlier, we were seeing some jeopardy of the finances. So that is the year where we decreased basic coverage. So basic coverage means checking percent claims. So we saw that decrease from the 50% to 40%, which is where it is today. We can move on. So at the same time that we lowered the coverage for dental from basic services from 50% to 40% and increased the amount that students can get through our network from 20% to 30%, trying to offset some of the costs. When we look at our own networks, we have networks for dental, pharmacy, physiotherapy, chiropractor, massage, and vision as well. Technology. We're able to make over $15 million savings across the country in associations we work with. We're well represented here in Mainland, particularly in Vancouver, with lots of different. How the network works is usually dental examples. So what we see on the left-hand side of the slide is the network coverage is 30%. Insurable coverage for the practice also at 70%. So if the student were to go to the they want to get dental clinic, they'd be able to, for the recall exam, they would be able to pay their have to get 30% coverage, 70% coverage, and then they would have to. Similarly, on our pharmacy, students are able to get 20% prescription drugs to a $40 cap. And that means that we're already having 80% coverage of prescription drugs, plus an additional 20%. Rexall is having a lot of for the drugs, as well as Rexall Direct, which is a service for students to get their prescriptions delivered to their home, which is really useful for those days. We can move on to the next slide. So how do students claim? So I'm just gonna very quickly go over this. There's three ways to make a claim. The easiest way, the best way is with a paper record. You're able to download one from the student website or to go on the insurer's app, PDC. On their app, they also have a digital version of this. This is what you would present to a dental clinic or to the pharmacy to have your claims directly. It's the easiest way, the most efficient way that you don't have to carry any papers, you don't have to submit anything. It's by far the best way for students. The second one is to download the mobile app and submit the picture. Very, very simple as well. The last one is the online forms that you can download, send it by mail.
It's the slowest way. We still have to have it as an option because there are folks who choose to use it. But in the last couple of years, we've seen this may not be the most reliable, considering we've had postal strikes across the country. I would recommend students go with the paper record or the mobile app. When it comes to student resources, Sophia mentioned earlier, we're currently using our studentcare.ca website that will be transitioning when we get to this fall to openmo.ca as our full-time website. Students are able to go onto the website to go to the Assistance Center to get some support. The other way is to go to the third floor of the AMS Nest. Okay, so one of the things that we did this current semester, we did a survey of AMS GSS members where we asked them to fill out a survey specifically about the health and dental plan. We sent this out to a segment of the population and ended up getting 348 respondents. Of those respondents, 60% of them were graduate members.
71% mentioned that health practitioners were the most important thing they were looking for in the plan. So as mental health practitioners, physical therapists, important. Majority of the respondents said that 63% that they would accept higher increases to the plan coverage with the increase in cost, as opposed to lowering the plan cost to maintain the same benefits. In terms of coverage, the areas that we saw respondents were most interested in increasing were, no surprise, massage therapy, mental health, vision, and dental basic services. Some of the areas that in earlier slides I mentioned that they moved around, most notably mental health, and vision, and dental. So these are some of the things that the MSGS committee is going to be considering in 2 weeks as we look to renew their upcoming year. Lastly, 60% of respondents said that the opt-out process was either simple or very simple. We asked students if they had opted out, and if they did, what was that experience like? Well, it's a process that takes about 3 to 4 minutes to do online. They're able to provide your alternative coverage, and you'd be able to opt out of the plan. Lastly, one of the ways that we're giving back to our partners across the country, we know that wallets have been tightening across the country, across the education specifically. So we decided to create what we call the Alumo Student Impact Fund. This is $250,000 dedicated solely to student projects. They must be student-driven projects for the benefit of the campus community, not for commercial use. So this isn't someone starting a nonprofit for interest where they're trying to profit. Meant to be nonpartisan, so not particularly aligned with a particular campaign or political viewpoint. It is meant to align with our values that we show across the country: inclusivity, sustainability, and student well-being. The way this will work is students will be able to submit to the Impact Fund, a project that they have in mind. For example, it could be a campaign around consent culture, it could be a campaign around Indigenous truth reconciliation. We could submit to potentially receive funding. The way that the governance of this would work is we would have student leaders from across the country come together and be the governance part of this body, where they would be able to look at their different projects that are presented by their peers and figure out which ones. It's another option for students to get funding for things that help the campus community.
Applications will open this fall, September. October 15th will be the first deadline for submissions, but September will be the first
applications open.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Uh, Now we'll take questions. Please raise your hand and I'll recognize you. Any questions for our audience? Of course, questions. We'll have fun.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming. We have this GSSU in review for 2025 and 2026. Let me see.
Okay. Thank you so much for this next portion. I'm gonna try to not damage your ears. Yeah, so we're going to be going through the executive updates. This year, the executives worked really hard on some of our goals to basically help you guys with making the graduate student experience more accessible and more inclusive. Yeah. We already did a little land acknowledgement, so if it's okay with you guys, we're just gonna skip over it. This is introductions, like we said, these are the 5 executives this year and their relevant portfolios. Right. So the first slide is related to graduate student funding and support, and I'll give it to
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel, VP University and nice to meet you again. For those who came late and lost introduction. So without hesitation, let's dive into the achievements that GSS could get as a team. So one of the major ones was graduate student funding. So it increased from 24K to 40K for the minimum PhD funding effective fall 2026. So this could not be done without the efforts of all of the GSS executives, the previous GSS executives, QP 2278, AMS, SUO, and councilors. And GCC as well that worked hard in this regard. While acknowledging that this is a great news, but this is the first step. From the time it's announced, a lot of the students reach out to us about the extension to 5th year, and also considering the. So we are working at that, and hopefully the new GSS team also will continue the work and this as well. Yeah, the other service that we have here is the GFSA, Graduate Student Financial Aid. With the current crisis that we are seeing right now in the world, so this service is shining even more than before. So those students who are in need, financial need, could reach us to GSS and there's a committee, and after considering the application, they will decide if the students will be granted the emergency fund or not. The other service that we have is a peer support service. So we have trained advocacy coordinators and graduate students who are facing a problem that could affect their academic journey, anything from the courses to the supervisor relation. they can reach us to GSS, and we got these two services, GFSA and peer support, over the course of this year. Next slide, please. This year, we could achieve three major grants for graduate students. The biggest one was UBC Wellbeing Strategic Initiative Fund, which has been used for the mental workshops that we have right now, and these are happening in the March, so you can join them. The sleep workshop, the mental health workshop, the nutrition workshop. The second one is Move UBC grant that has been used for the completely free Zumba classes for graduate students. And the third one, Inspiring Community Project Grant that has been used for the wellness workshops. And as we promised before, we built a strong collaboration with QP 2278. We created a subcommittee and GSS to better cross-advertise and for better alignment of the advocacy goals that we have here in GSS. Yeah, that's a slide for you.
This year we have 134,000 in food security related funding from UBC to support graduate student well-being. And we have three different programs that we run with that money. One of our programs that is very popular is the Graduate Student $5 Meal Subsidy Program. And it supports graduate students experiencing food security, financial hardship, and also just the stress of grad school. And we've explored additional vendors and partnerships offering cultural foods. We also have a collaboration with the Food Hub Market. If you don't know the Food Hub Market, they're a great resource on campus to organize cooking classes that promote budget-friendly meal planning and provide nutrition education while increasing aware of Food Hub resources on campus. We have done some other projects to address affordability on campus. We have a holiday hamper project that has been going on for years. During the holidays, we distribute holiday packages with essential supplies for families. We also introduced a new project for incoming students where we provided basic kitchen and household supplies for students who are relocating, hoping that would help them out. There's also a baby hampers project that provides monthly essential supplies for graduate student families with newborns. We'll talk about graduate student well-being. So we've done a few different initiatives in terms of physical well-being, mental well-being, and also providing access to essential services that promote the well-being of graduate students. So in terms of events that we've organized, we did an outdoor wellness retreat, which really allowed students to get away from campus, be in an outdoor space, and really just engage in nature and just do activities unrelated to their academic work. We also organized workshops related to stress management because yes, graduate school gets very stressful. So having tools to help promote well-being throughout doing your degree is very helpful. We also have recreational classes such as Zumba, yoga, and Pilates. And we also introduced two new events. So we did Whitecaps and GoldenEye tickets subsidies. So this allowed people to just go out with their friends and just be out of campus and just kind of have some fun outside of our academic stress. Same for puppy yoga. We did a puppy yoga off campus, and this just kind of provided a space for people to have some fun. And we also collaborated with the UBC Center for Accessibility. So we hosted an orientation event for incoming students to support the access and awareness of this service. Because what we experienced and what we noticed is that some graduate students aren't aware that this is available for them, and they receive the information of this service after they need it. So this ensured that they had this access and they knew that they could get the accommodations they needed to be successful throughout their graduate student experiences. We also promoted this in our newsletter and on our website. We also hosted a tax training clinic to support graduate students in navigating filing their taxes if this is a stressful time, and kind of having the resources to be able to do that and help reduce some of that stress.
Let's get one.
No.
Check it. Great. Okay, so this slide is a newer advocacy goal that we had this year. We really wanted to think about supports for students with families. And we are still working on this advocacy goal. However, we are having conversations with UBC on how to better support partners of students who are seeking employment opportunities in Vancouver. So, for example, this means a priority for graduate students with a partner who might be interested in working on campus, or if they're just in general seeking to work in Vancouver. Additionally, we're having ongoing conversations with UBC Wellness Center and other offices on campus, including, for example, enrollment services to booth at the Acadia Food Hub in order to share more about their resources and what they can offer graduate students living at Acadia Park, for example.
We participated in federal and provincial lobby weeks in Ottawa and Victoria, asking for student supports to be expanded. We secured some interest on our ask for fair working conditions for graduate students, including unionization rights. Secured interest, unfortunately, doesn't translate to secured law wins, but it's still interest. We participated in protests and coordinated responses with other student societies and associations in reaction to the BC government's review of post-secondary education, arguing that student support should not in any circumstances be cut, and pushed for the protection of the 2% tuition caps. And in terms of professional development and careers, we built strong networks with alumni UBC this year, so they helped us recruit volunteers for our new Mix and Mingle networking nights. We did 2 of these events throughout the year. The first one was more interdisciplinary field, so alumni, the graduate student alumni from across different faculties and departments. And then our second one was more focused on sustainability, careers, and what graduate students did with their degrees related to that field. We also introduced a collaborative resume writing workshop with the UBC Career Center to just help graduate students write effective resumes. We also hosted a career development day focusing on professionals in higher education and policy related fields.
Okay. Okay. So this is going to be the interesting part of the finance slides. The accounting team, just to introduce the accounting team, it's not just me, it's also the part-time accountant we have internally at the GSS, the general manager, and the house finance committee. And I couldn't have achieved these things without all of their support and hard work. And of course, the rest of the executives who also take part in finance related tasks. So we basically focus on 2 things in the finance team. The first one was to simplify our accounting processes, because there are a lot of overly complex procedures and rules internally that we have that were leading to delays and mistakes. And also to create policies that are financially related, but also generally related to executive oversight. My role is actually the financial and executive oversight officer. Because we want to improve our accountability and transparency. So you can go on to the next slide. In terms of simplifying accounting processes, the main one was transitioning to having an in-house part-time accountant. So we previously had an external bookkeeping service contracted that has been one of the worst companies I've had to deal with in my life. And this, while in the short term, this transition was a little bit costly, we are already seeing our accounting related expenses going down. And the reduction in errors has been quite large. And so it's just been easier doing all the routine monthly tasks each month. Related to repetitive routine tasks, we've managed to automate the production of monthly financial reports. And so this has made reporting to council a lot easier and also just gives us more time to focus on the big picture financial decisions when we're not spending all of our time working on these repetitive, pretty mind-numbing financial tasks. But there are some things that still have to be done. And so we wrote a finance and accounting guide internally for the team so that we can have clarity on what each executive and staff member has to do to complete the monthly financial processes that just have to be done internally within the organization. And then in terms of the policies that we worked on, there were two main ones. One was creating really clear guidelines for a fund we have, which is called the Executive Professional Development Fund, which has the purpose of paying for training for the executives so that we can get better at serving you. There's no funding for this year, so at least we have the guidelines for the coming years. And we also drafted an external organization fee policy so there can be clarity when we partner with other student organizations that receive funds that we have to process, so that there's clarity on their end on what the costs are going to be, and so that we are compensated for the admin costs involved. The next slide is pretty empty because there's going to be an additional presentation in a bit.
I think that works. And then just some quick updates on the affiliate organizations this year. So the GSS provided funding support for over 90 events and workshops hosted by our affiliate organizations. We also tried to create multiple different channels of communication. So this included a monthly newsletter, which really provided quick updates on AOs, any type of events that we were having for AOs, and our meetings that we were having per term. So this was really an opportunity for all of us to gather and just if we had any questions, just to kind of discuss that. And just if they had questions on application processes, how financial processes, this provided a space for them to connect beyond just email. We also received over 10 new affiliate organizations on our membership list this year. And we also revised the AO funding for more equitable access to the funds and just kind of limiting the number of, limiting the number of AOs or limiting the number of program cohorts that qualified for an AO. So this ensured that some departments didn't have multiple AOs that kind of tailored to the same group of people, but really ensured that we were distributing those funds more evenly across.
Okay, now I'm just gonna go through some of the highlights of the year. So, with regards to the meal subsidy program this year, we were able to serve 1,300 subsidized meals. Additionally, during orientation, we had 1,021 students participate in orientation events. Additionally, the executives also boothed at the Masters of Global Policy program. And additionally, as well as joined in on the law orientation to do presentations to kind of promote GSS and to just kind of encourage students to ask us questions and to join the GSS. Additionally, we also organized more than 50 events throughout the year. 150 baby hampers were distributed per month. And additionally, the Graduate Life Center, which is downstairs, had about 5,000 visitors.
Additionally, we also have 55 active affiliate organizations, as I said. So yeah, this is just like kind of a rundown of some of the orientation events that we had. For example, we had bowling, free pancake brunch. We also had the Philadelphia subsidized Vancouver Whitecap tickets. And we also try to make our orientation events very inclusive. So we also have a family fun day at Acadia Park where where graduate students kind of are able to bring in their kids and do a bunch of variety of fun activities with fun snacks because food is always welcome. Additionally, I'm just gonna quickly run through some of the GSS services that we offered this year. The first one is the graduate student financial aid. Like we said, it's just an emergency fund for graduate students. Number two is the GSS coaching program. So this is a program where graduate students are able to, for a very low subsidized cost, they're able to go through a coaching program that basically helps them learn like life skills and leadership skills that are going to help them in their future careers. Additionally, we also have peer support and AMS and GSS, the health and dental plan, like what Sophia and R presented on earlier today. Additionally, as well as advocacy. So, okay, perfect. Additionally, we were just, we offered a variety of events that kind of boosted graduate student development. So for example, effective communication, workshops. We also had career development days, wellness retreats, like we said, where it happened at Gambier Island. And we also had, for example, that's a picture on the bottom right from the coaching program, I believe. Yeah, so it's just been a very busy year of helping graduate students kind of reach career success in the future. These are just some of the slides related to graduate student community. So we have a very successful monthly games and movie night. Additionally, like we mentioned, we had the baby hamper project, the holiday hamper project. We had a Acadia food hub and clothing drive. Additionally, we also had the graduate student satisfaction survey and the very popular $5 meal subsidy program that we will continue to keep and advocate and expand in the new year. I'm gonna try to run through this really quickly. We also had, like, you know, for example, subsidized concert tickets, subsidized tickets to go see William Shakespeare. Sorry, William Shakespeare's plays. Being scary if he was still alive, sorry. And then we also have art therapy where students can come in and engage with arts and to really relieve, you know, the stresses maybe your professor or your lab mates put on you. Additionally, we also hosted, you know, thesis writing sessions to encourage those students who are big procrastinators, me, to write their thesis. And additionally, we also had like paint and sip nights, for example, and just a wide variety of events that we have throughout the year, including a pitch your single friends event for Valentine's Day. Yeah, so if you guys are so compelled by what we just told you and or you're like, oh, I can totally do that better, please get involved. Like next year, if you're still here, please apply to our work one positions. Actually, the positions are open right now, so there's a few positions available right now on our website, and you're welcome to apply for the summer. Additionally, you can join a committee. So for example, if you have a niche interest in anything, for example, anything from finances to executive oversight, or for example, what's another one? Sorry, my brain is not working. Governance and accountability. You were in first year, you guys. So she's our governance and accountability chair, and soon to be a president, actually. So yeah, so definitely come join in the committee. There's something for everyone. Additionally, if you can also become a department rep on the GSS council. So this means that you really get to vote on graduates on what the GSS is doing, and you get to vote on some motions and hold up fancy little cards with your names on it. Additionally, please definitely, if you don't want to get involved, that's okay, but stay involved with our weekly newsletter and our social media accounts. Give it a like or troll on us. Just kidding. If you're gonna troll, maybe troll Tesla. Okay, any questions? If you guys have any questions, please reach out to president@gss.ubc.ca or a@gss.ubc.ca, or just come by me after. Thank you. Excellent. So a lot of things happening last year. I'm trying to find my slide back. Okay, any questions or discussions? Yes.
Do I need a mic for accessibility? Thanks, you're tired. Hi. Oh. Hold on.
You have to leave the bottom first.
Hi, my name is Caitlin. I'm actually the Academic and External Affairs Committee Chair, if you're interested in that committee. I just need to make a correction. It was said that the GFSA is an emergency fund. I'm on the panel. It's not an emergency fund. We do not get to always in emergency situations if we cannot meet. Therefore, it's more accurate to call it a hardship fund, and I just want to make that correction really clear in case people are in emergency situations. If you are in an emergency situation where you have no money and you need groceries or you can't pay rent because you're just extremely broke, please go to emergency enrollment services first. GFSA is unfortunately just a hardship fund due to the constraints that we are graduate students. We are just people who try to get funding out as fast as we possibly can. Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Thanks, Caesar. It's your turn. You want to be here?
No.
I,
It's okay.
don't wanna give you, I cannot give you my microphone.
You know, my own mic.
If I have a riot in front of me, I have no mic to stop. Oh, thank you. I will.
Thanks. Okay, you can go on to the next slide, Connie. So, what's this? We have to present the findings from the independent audit conducted by our auditor for the previous fiscal year that started June 1st, 2024 and ended May 31st, 2025. We have to do this because the Thesis Societies Act requires us to report on the audited financial statements for the annual general meeting each year. And even if it didn't require us to do this, it's just increased transparency to let all the students know how an independent organization evaluated our internal financial performance. So I'll quickly go over how our general position is different from last year's. There was a small increase in our total assets, and also a small increase in our total liabilities, which resulted in a small increase in the net assets. I'm not going to dive into the details here, but I'll explain a bit more detail in the next slide. Also, just so you all know, these findings come straight from a report that was prepared by the auditors. They couldn't be here today, so they gave me this report to present. So these two columns explain how our revenues and expenses changed from 2024 to 2025. There was a very small increase in membership fees as a result of the smaller increase in international students or general decrease in international graduate students. However, we did obtain a significant increase in UBC grants. I think the number for 2024 was around 10K. So this massive increase let us start lots of programs that the GSS did not have before. We had lower investment income just due to general market conditions, but overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the performance of our investments. Our rental revenue also went down because we do not have some office space rented out anymore. Overall, there was an 8% increase in total revenue when compared to 2024. In terms of expenses, there was a pretty big jump in salaries and benefits, but a fraction of this was due to the addition of grant-funded positions. So yes, we're spending more on salaries, but we also have more money from UBC to spend on those salaries. And many of the events and programs we have, the main cost component is labor. And so that justifies increasing spending on salaries. As a result of the increase in grants, we also spent a lot more on student programs, which is very positive. And executive honoraria just increased according to CPI. Professional fees also had a big decrease down from 107K. A part of this was switching from, as I said, an external bookkeeping service to our part-time accountant. And this also didn't fully capture the cost saved because the bookkeeping service was gonna get a lot more expensive. I think they were gonna increase the prices like 20%. Overall, we have an increase in 20% in total expenses. Obviously, this is not something we would really love to see year to year, but it's partly justified because of this increase in program-related spending that's linked to the UBC grants we received. Overall, we received a surplus, well, not received, but at the end of the year, we had a surplus of almost $35,000. Okay. Now this is like the big picture findings for the audit. So they issued a clean audit opinion, which means that they did not encounter any significant difficulties during the audit. Of course, it's very difficult to conduct an audit when there's like lots of back and forth, trying to figure out how certain decisions were taken. They have full access to our internal financial systems. But in the end, they believe that the financial statements were conducted in a correct manner and that all uncorrected misstatements were corrected already by management. So these are mostly minor accounting issues. In terms of their recommendations, they recommend reviewing bank reconciliations monthly, which hadn't been done by our bookkeeping service before, and that we should increase the segregation of duties internally due to potential conflicts of interest within the organization. So just linked to what I just said, the recommendations are to ensure that these reconciliations are reviewed by management. I know this has to be prepared and signed off by the financial officer or general manager, but it's more a review should be done by the financial officer and general manager, and these are usually prepared by the accountant. Improving our general bookkeeping practices is something we have to do, and that's why we worked on having the internal financial guide so that our staff and executives can improve how they record every transaction we have. And in general, and this is more big picture, and it's probably something that's going to be discussed in council, we have to ensure that there is a clear separation of financial duties and regular review by the House Finance Committee of our financial performance. That's something that is happening right now, so I feel at ease with this recommendation. Okay, so to conclude, the GSS remains financially stable with positive net surplus from last year's fiscal year. We acknowledge 11 audit findings and are preparing actions to address those issues. And we have a pretty strong foundation from which we can build next year's budget and prepare for upcoming capital improvements. So thanks everyone. I know this was pretty technical, especially to whoever isn't involved with the GSS, but if anyone has any questions, please feel free to raise them now or later.
Hey, thank you very much. That's a lot of work. Any questions? All right, let's go to the next scene. GSS election, very exciting, and 4%. Represented? Okay.
That's all good, I understand. Hello? So, my name is Graham Logan, and I'm the Elections and Engagement Officer. So, for today, for this year's election, I had the pleasure of working with Victoria, Carl, and Chair. We formed the EPD. Next slide. Okay, so we started elections on January 9th and it ran until March 20th. So initially we had 12 nominations. Two of the initial nominees dropped out, and so we had a final of 10 candidates. We had two sessions to essentially promote elections. The first was a Meet the Candidates night on March 2nd and debate night on March 10th. And the debate night turned out pretty good compared to previous years. Next one. So for the results, so these are prelim results. On March 26th, the GSS Council will ratify these results. So, check back for the official results. But so far, Haley won with the majority of the votes. Next slide. Down to the bottom. Okay, with VP students, it was Mater. VP External Relations, Charles. And the VP University and Academic Affairs was Gotham. Yeah, you saw the photos up there. So this year, elections took place. So the voting period was across approximately 4 days. That's 6.1% of the GSS electors voting. Next slide. So this is just a basic chart of essentially when students voted. So across the entire period, there were, I guess, small snippets of time that they voted. Next slide. This is just a breakdown of essentially from 2018 to 2026, what the voter turnout has been. And you can see that across 4 days, that's been consistent with previous voter turnouts. Last year we had a longer period of time for voting, so the turnout was a bit higher. Next slide. So I couldn't have promoted this elections without the help of Francis, Fahad, Ethan, and Maria. So they took part of essentially promoting it via our social media units, the newsletter, and they did all of the communication work. So yeah, we'll give them a round of applause. And this is just a sample of essentially what they help craft and essentially distribute to the student body. Next slide. So just a couple of recommendations moving forward. So essentially encourage greater turnout by extending the voting period. So this year we were a bit tight with timelines, so that's why we can only have the voting period for 4 days. But in the future, we'll try to extend that, get more people to vote. Reach out to member organizations across campus, encourage voting. So try to so a goal that we can, yes, reach next year is to essentially go to the affiliate organizations in person. I sort of discuss that with their team, have them, reach out to their members to essentially vote. It's a lot of work, but I feel like we can try that out. Yeah, so again, congratulations to the new executives and thank you to everyone who ran for executive positions. Next slide. And finally, I'd like to say a big shout out to the EPP, the Elections Policy Panel, Communications Team, the ENE Committee, and of course the GSS family for making all of the elections possible.
Any questions? I'll handle it. Any questions?
No questions, but.
No, comment?
Yeah.
Did you turn it on?
Oh, I just wanted to say, like, thank you so much for everybody who ran in the elections and who, even had just the balls. Sorry for my vulgar choice of words. But like, yeah, just to have the courage to run. It's not easy doing that, and so thank you so much for, even wanting to dedicate your time to the GSS. So yeah, and hopefully, if anybody is still staying here next year, please run. It's great.
If any of the next year's candidate, you want to stand up and wave yourself, if you're here, like, feel free to do so. You're gonna have to stand in front of the stage and then cut a lot of ribbons, I remember that. Not ribbons. Okay, any questions or comments, Bill? Okay, really congratulations all the incoming executives and then especially also election committee. I have been there, done the election committee. It was a lot of work. Thank you very much. Yeah, and the executive as well for support. Hey, executive oversight, who is presenting David?
Oh, here it is.
What's that? ERC? Okay, do you have a working microphone for David?
Good one. You want to sit here? You did?
Yes, I did.
No.
Thank you. Good evening, counselors of GSS and fellow members of the society. I'm David, the chair of the Executive Oversight Committee, EOC for short. The EOC, to those who are less familiar with us, plays an important role in ensuring executive accountability within the society. The committee is responsible for reviewing the performance of the 5 executive officers who are here with us, ensuring that they are making progress towards their goals, and providing a structured process for feedback and evaluation. While oversight is an important part of our role, the process also supports our executives in carrying out their responsibilities effectively and in the best interest of the graduate students. The EOC is currently working on the executive final performance evaluation according to section 4.6.2, subsection D, subparagraph 3 of the Committee on Caucus Policy. A summary of the evaluation will be presented at the April Council meeting as required under the same policy, subsection E. This review is based on several sources: a survey of GSS staff and counselors, progress on the executive support goals, their individual report to the EOC, feedback that we receive from other members of the society, and their performance in meetings and communications. By incorporating feedback from multiple perspectives, the committee aims to ensure that the evaluation process is balanced, transparent, and constructive. If you're interested in learning more about the results, I encourage you to join us at the next council meeting on April 16, I believe, where the evaluation summary will be presented. I would like to thank all executive officers for their extensive presentation and their contribution so far in their term. I would also like to congratulate our four newly elected executive officers. The EOC will oversee and facilitate the executive transition process to help ensure that current work is transferred thoroughly and that incoming executives can begin implementing their priorities and working toward their goals as smoothly as possible. Executive transitions are particularly important for maintaining continuity within society, as many projects and initiatives span multiple terms. Since I assumed chairship in February, not a long time ago, I received valuable feedback from many members of society regarding executive accountability. These conversations have been very helpful in identifying areas for improvement. During this time, I have noticed several areas where policy adjustments or procedural improvements could strengthen the society's oversight framework. Strong governance systems are important, not only for accountability, but also ensuring that clarity of expectations and effective communication between councils, committee, and the executive teams. Looking ahead, one of the EOC's long-term priorities in the upcoming term will be to explore opportunities for improving these systems. We aim to work collaboratively with the executive team and council to ensure that oversight processes are effective, fair, and transparent. I would also like to take this opportunity to inform councilors and members present that the EOC currently has some vacancy. The committee plays an important role in ensuring executive accountability, and participation from councilors and members help to ensure that evaluation process reflect a broad range of perspectives within the society. Serving on the EOC can also be a valuable opportunity for members who are interested in governance, policy, and leadership within the GSS. Honorable mention, our new VP, University Affairs is is actually a member of EOC at the moment. Of course, he will not be a part of EOC once he takes office. Committee members contribute to this discussions about oversight processes, review executive reports, and help support accountability, structure that guides the society work. If you have any ideas while listening to the presentations earlier, I think they're a good fit in our committee. If you're interested in joining the committee, please feel free to contact us at eochair@gss.ubc.ca. The email address is also available on the GSS website. And I would be happy to speak with anyone who would like to learn more about the committee's work. Finally, I would like to acknowledge our committee members, Gautam, Brian, Zadia, Emma, and Ayman. Thank you all for your hard work and this dedication to the committee. Your contributions are essential to ensuring that the EOC continues to function effectively. I look forward to working with all of you in the coming year as we continue to strengthen the society and support the work being done on behalf of the graduate students at UBC. Thank you.
Any questions for David? Thank you, David. Thank you, all the EOC members. It's a lot of work, but I hope you have fun doing it. Yeah, let's see what we have. Oh my God, we're the end. Okay, we cannot do auditor because we have to call a special AGM for that.
Do the straw prices. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody can tell me what to do and on the agenda. Okay, Emily. You know what? Let me close the meeting. So you don't need to abide by my rules. Okay, so we didn't call the meeting officially in place. So we just end the meeting right now at 6:09 for the record. And then Emily, please go ahead with your stuff.
Hi to everybody on Zoom. I will be running the draw. When if your name is selected, please send a message either directly to me or in the chat, just letting me know what your email is. If you don't respond, we'll go through all the prizes. And then if you don't respond, we will select another attendee to claim the prize. So make sure to send me a message. All right, so just pulling up the list of prizes. So the first prize is a $25 gift card. Do we know what the gift card is for? Or is it a gift card of, I believe it's a gift card of your choice. This goes to Samia. Please send me a message in the chat. And the next prize is a $25 UBC gift card. Which goes to Safira. And then we have a $50 Visa gift card. Which goes to Sebastian. Next, we have sports tickets to April 4th. Did we have specifics on the games? Okay. I will confirm with you about the specific event, but it'll be 2 tickets to a game on April 4th. Congrats to Marissa. And next we have 2 Whitecaps tickets. This will be to any game within a certain time period during their regular season. Congrats to David. And then finally, we have 2 more sports tickets. Again, I'm not quite sure what event they are for, but it will be on April 17th. And congrats to Alexandra. Now, I'll just confirm. Everybody has sent me their emails. So I am just waiting on Samia and David to send. Oh, perfect. I have Samia. All right, it looks like everybody has claimed their prizes. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, I'll be ending the meeting. If you have any further questions about the presentation, anything like that, just feel free to send us a message. And have a lovely rest of your day. Bye, everybody.